The tone in the last few days has been very respectful between the White House and McCarthy's team. You just said a few moments ago that McCarthy's team is working in good faith. But this morning you had House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries slamming MAGA Republicans for dangerous default gamesmanship. You had Pete Aguilar saying McCarthy's beholden to the most extreme members of his party. So is House Democratic leadership undermining the work of the administration right now?
Not at all. We are aligned with them, with the leadership on both the House and the Senate, and that continues. And we have been aligned with them for the past several months.
Does Jeffries speak for the party here?
I believe he's the leader of the Democratic caucus on the House, so I would presume that is a yes.
So it just seems like there's a bit of a divide between the rhetoric that he's using and the rhetoric we're hearing out of the White House.
Look, I think multiple things could happen at the same time. Clearly, Leader Jeffries is a partner in this.
One more. Is that at all a signal that House Democrats doubt the president's ability to lead the country to a solution here?
Well, that's an extreme analysis or final kind of analysis there.
This tradition that would be like an end run around what the president is doing.
Absolutely not. Look, I would refer you to Congress on their processes and what they're trying to do in Congress. But to say or suggest the president's leadership is in question, I think is completely false. I disagree with that premise and certainly with that question, because if you look at the last 2 years, if you look at what Democrats have been able to get done with the leadership of this president, that is the complete opposite of what you just laid out. Go ahead, April.
Just to be clear on timing, is any date before June 1st, in your eyes, good enough to get this thing done?
Look, we have to get this done. That's what I can tell you.
Is like Friday the goal, Saturday the goal?
You're asking me for a date. I'm not gonna get into dates. What I can say, there's an urgency. We want to see this done. This could be done today. Actually,
I guess the reason I ask is because there have been ramifications before. We've witnessed this back in 2011. It went down to the wire. They still beat the X date. They still got the debt limit raised at the last minute. But then days later, the credit rating was downgraded. How confident are you that, given the dysfunction we've witnessed here, it going down to the wire, our credit rating would not be downgraded?
Look, this is why the president for the last 5 months has stated how important and how critical it is to get this done, how critical it is for Congress to do their constitutional duty. This is why you have heard an echo from here over and over, and a repetitive one, of how we think and believe this should have moved forward.
It didn't happen. So how confident are you that it wouldn't be downgraded? Yesterday we heard from Speaker McCarthy multiple times, spoke multiple times in the morning, spoke multiple times after the meeting took place. We heard from the president very briefly during the meeting. For Americans that feel like they're not hearing from the president regularly, not hearing from the vice president regularly, not hearing from cabinet officials right now, where is the messaging from the White House on this beyond at this podium?
Well, you've heard from the president multiple times over the weekend. You've heard from the president multiple times during the last 5 months. He has been very clear. You've heard from me. We've been very clear for the past 5 months. I wouldn't just look at the last couple of days. The past 5 months, consistently. You've heard from this president.
Do you feel like it's winning the messaging war on this?
I mean, look, what we have been very clear, and what we saw in 2011 is that, and polling showed this, that the GOP was blamed for that. That's how the Americans saw the outcome of the debt limit there and what was happening with the negotiations back then. That's what the polling showed.
The President and Speaker McCarthy have an agreement to talk on the phone or in person on a daily basis. I think Speaker McCarthy implied that would happen. And so do they have an agreement? And is it going to happen?
I can say this, don't have any meetings or calls to announce, but obviously the staff is going to continue to have this conversation. They just wrapped up a conversation moments ago, and the president will speak to the speaker when it's necessary. I just don't have anything to share at this time.